You spend a lifetime gathering secrets, a pinch of this, a handful of that, passed down from mothers who survived wars and crossed oceans, their calloused fingers crumbling dried herbs into pots that steamed with the sharp tang of survival. You think you're preserving your history, the sizzle of fatback and cast iron, the yeasty puff of rising dough. You never think you'll need to protect it from your own blood. My niece didn't just want to preserve my recipes. She photographed every card in my recipe box while I was napping, then published them in a digital cookbook she sold online, listing herself as the sole author and creator of my family's heritage. It hit me like a slap from Grandma's rolling pin, hard hickory cracking against my knuckles, the sting blooming hot and immediate. I was slumped in my cozy kitchen in Chicago's old neighborhood, the one where creaky oak floors groan underfoot like weary ancestors, and the air hangs heavy with the eternal ghost of fermented cabbage. Smoked sausage grease baked into yellowed wallpaper since 1928. I just turned 74, retired after 42 years slinging trays at St. Mary's Elementary Cafeteria. Practical, no-nonsense Dottie Kowalski, that's me. The undisputed matriarch who stitched our sprawling family clan together with Sunday dinners reeking of oniony stuffed cabbage steam, stern glares that could curdle milk, and sauerkraut soured just right to make your eyes water and nose run. My kids called me the general, their boots thudding across my linoleum as they begged for seconds, plates clattering like medals in a parade. Grandkids? Grandma Dottie, who mended scraped knees with the sharp sting of mercurochrome and fixed feuds with a wooden spoon smacked against her palm, the crack echoing like a judge's gavel. That recipe box was my crown jewels, sacred as the family Bible tucked in the china hutch. A battered walnut thing, carved with thorny roses by my grandpa back in the old country before the Great War's mud and mustard gas swallowed him whole. Inside, yellowed index cards, edges curled like ancient parchment scrolls, brittle with age and pocked with craters of splashed gravy, ghostly flower smudges, and the faint brown blooms of dried tears from Christmases too lean. Grandma Anna's handwriting, precise copperplate strokes, guarding dumpling secrets. Farmer's cheese blended with a whisper of nutmeg and sharp cheddar from Wisconsin dairies, dough so tender it sighed like a lover when you pinched it shut. The filling bursting warm and tangy on your tongue. Uncle Stan's hunter's stew, a feral pot of venison haunches, wild mushrooms foraged from alley shadows, cabbage layered with prunes that wept dark, sticky syrup after 3 days simmer on coal-blackened stoves, the air thick with winey earth, smoked meat, and the slow-burning fury of the 37 steel strikes, each spoonful a gritty hymn to endurance. Great-great-grandma Sophia's holiday wafers, hammered paper-thin on a marble slab chilled with well water, tasting of clean snow and shared confessions at Christmas, broken with fingers sticky from donut glaze that dripped like molten gold. Crystal breezed in 3 weeks prior, unannounced, a whirlwind of synthetic vanilla perfume slicing through my kitchen's oniony haze like a knife through soft butter, leaving a cloying sweetness that clung to my curtains for days. My sister's daughter, 28 going on 40 in ruthless ambition, a full-time content creator, food blogger with 1.2 million Instagram zombies drooling over her filtered feeds of glowy avocado toasts and sponsored kale smoothies. She wore skin-tight yoga pants that whispered against my chair cushions and a crop top flashing a tattoo of a rolling pin, ironic now, that inked lie. Her nails clicked like castanets on her phone screen as she hugged me, all glossy hair and fake lashes fluttering. Aunt Dottie. Oh my God, those recipes you've got hidden away? Pure gold. Let me help you digitize them. Get with the times, you know? Preserve them for the family before they get lost forever. I was flattered, truth be told, my cheeks warming under her praise like dough proofing by the radiator. Crystal had always been the wild child, dropped out of college after 2 semesters. Bounced between waitressing gigs and pyramid scheme makeup sales, while her cousins built steady lives with desk jobs and mortgages. Lately, though, she'd exploded online, posting about authentic family eats, with those phony filters that turned lumpy mashed potatoes into pearl-smooth clouds. I figured this was her way of finally coming home, honoring the Kowalski name with something real. Sure, honey, I said, patting her soft hand, feeling the cool metal of her smartwatch against my wrinkled skin. After lunch, when I'm not so pooped from the morning chores, we ate my famous stuffed cabbage rolls, steaming in their tomatoey bath, the meaty tang curling up in savory clouds that fogged the windows and made the whole house smell like a hug from heaven. She snapped photos of the plate for her stories, the flash popping harsh against the dim bulb light, gushing about how real and rustic it was, her fork spearing a roll with a wet squelch. I dozed off in my armchair afterward, the TV murmuring some old folk tunes on public radio, the velvet cushions sinking warm under my weight, my eyelids heavy as sandbags from the carb coma. When I woke, groggy and mouth dry, she was gone, but she'd left a sticky note on the fridge, its bubblegum scent clashing with my simmering soup. Digitizing magic happening. Back soon. XOXO. I shuffled to the pantry in my slippers, their rubber soles sticking slightly to the linoleum, and there it was, the recipe box, slightly askew on the shelf amid jars of dill pickles crunching with brine. A few cards poked out crookedly, as if hastily replaced. I didn't think much of it then, just old age making me paranoid. That evening, my phone buzzed like an angry hornet on the side table. A text from Crystal. Surprise, Aunt Dottie. Check this out, our family's legacy modernized. Link in bio. Smiling face with heart eyes, heart fluttering with foolish pride, I fumbled with the tablet she'd gifted me last Christmas. Big screen. Chunky buttons for a dinosaur like me. Its plastic case still smelling faintly of the mall's pretzel stand. I clicked the link, the page loading with a cheerful chime. My stomach plummeted, cold and leaden, like swallowing a whole uncooked potato. Crystal's Family Kitchen, authentic recipes from the heartland. Her face on the cover, airbrushed to porcelain perfection under soft studio lights, wearing a frilly apron like some pioneer doll, lips glossy and parted in a triumphant smile. Subtitle: Timeless Family Secrets, reimagined for today. Price: $9.99. Already 500 downloads, reviews flooding in like sewage. So innovative. Love the modern twists. Finally, comfort food that's healthy and chic. The air in my kitchen turned sour, the leftover stuffed cabbage congealing untouched on the stove. I scrolled inside, each swipe a knife twist. Every single card. Grandma Anna's dumplings verbatim, but with footnotes in Crystal's bubbly font. I swapped in low-fat cottage cheese for authenticity with a wellness vibe, less guilt, more glow. Uncle Stan's Hunter Stew, reduced sodium, added quinoa for plant-based protein boost, tastes just as hearty. Even the holiday wafers, rebranded as festive vegan crisp breads with pairing suggestions for avocado smash and chia seeds, they're pure, snowy snap perverted into hipster fodder. Sole author, Dottie Kowalski. No mention of me. No nod to Grandma Anna, Uncle Stan, or the ghosts etched in those ink stains. She'd erased us, sandblasted our names from our own stone. My hands shook, arthritic knuckles popping like dry twigs as I dialed her. The phone rang twice, then her voice bubbly, breathless, like she'd just finished a workout video. Aunt Dottie. Did you see it? Isn't it amazing? Crystal Marie Kowalski, what in God's name have you done? My voice cracked, raw as an open wound, the wooden spoon in my fist digging splinters into my palm. Aunt Dottie, you should be proud, she chirped, oblivious or cruel, her words tinkling over speakerphone like shattering glass. I could hear traffic whooshing. She was probably in her SUV, fresh from some influencer brunch, the dashboard lit with notifications dinging like cash registers. I've made our family legacy accessible to the world. I'm the author, but it's our story. I just curated it. Made it pop. That's not your story to sell, I snapped, the spoon slamming the counter with a thud that rattled the salt shaker, white grains spilling like tiny avalanches. It was the one Grandma used to chase my father around the kitchen for sneaking cookies, its handle worn smooth by generations. That's my mother's handwriting. Our blood in every smudged word, every grease spot. It's in the public domain now, she shrugged. I could picture her manicured nails flipping her hair, the dismissive flick audible even over the line. Besides, I've improved them for modern palates. Less salt, whole wheat flour, gluten-free options. People are raving. Sales are booming, already hit $5,000 this week. We're rich, Aunt Dottie. $5,000. For my soul, packaged in pixels and shipped overnight for pocket change. The room spun, the fridge humming mockingly, my reflection in its stainless door showing a hag with wild gray hair and eyes like chipped flint. I hung up, ball rising sharp and acidic in my throat, burning like cheap whiskey. She had auctioned off my memories for $9.99, each download a fresh betrayal. I couldn't stay in that house. It felt violated, drawers ransacked, air tainted with her vanilla ghost. The next morning, October chill seeping through cracked window frames like icy fingers, I bundled into my wool coat, mothballs and lavender, and walked the 4 blocks to Kaminsky's Deli on Milwaukee Avenue. The bell above the door jingled sharp and merry, a lie against my mood, as warm air rushed out thick with garlic, smoked meat, and fresh-baked bread that made my empty stomach clench. That place has been there since 1923, a squat brick beacon with faded gold letters peeling like old skin, counters scarred from a century of cleavers thunking into brisket. Mr. Kaminsky, Wally, but to me always Mr. K, took it over from his dad in '64. He's 82 now, bent but unbowed, with wire-rimmed glasses perpetually smudged from handling sausages, his apron stiff with dried blood and flour, ledger books stacked like ancient tomes behind the counter amid jars of pickled herring glistening oily pink. He supplied my family for generations. Fresh sausage twisted by hand with a wet snap, sauerkraut fermented in oak barrels that bubbled sour and alive, donuts plump as feather pillows, their raspberry filling oozing hot and sticky when you bit in. I ordered my usual, 2 raspberry donuts, powdered sugar thick as fresh snow blanketing the plate, and coffee black as the coal we used to burn, steaming bitter and scalding my tongue. But I couldn't eat. I just sat at the scarred wooden table by the window, fogged with breath, staring at the sugar dusting my lap like funeral ash, the street outside blurring in gray drizzle. Mr. K noticed immediately, his orthopedic shoes squeaking on the linoleum as he wiped thick, sausage-scented hands on his apron and shuffled over. Dottie Kowalski, you look like you lost a fight with a ghost and the ghost won. What's eating those famous stuffed cabbage rolls of yours? They go bad? I broke, words tumbling out between sips of coffee that tasted like regret and burnt rubber. The visit, her cloying hug, the nap with sunlight slanting gold through lace curtains, the sneaky photos in the pantry's dusty hush. The cookbook reveal with its sterile digital gleam, Crystal's smug chirp over the phone. His face darkened like a storm cloud rolling heavy over Lake Michigan, jowls tightening under his bristly white mustache, the air between us thickening with shared outrage. That Crystal, he muttered, crossing himself with a sausage-callous thumb, the motion whispering against his flannel shirt. Snake in the garden, slithering for apples. I knew she was trouble when she came in here last month, snapping pictures of my display case without asking, flash popping like gunfire, said it was for content. Bah, content my foot. He paused, eyes narrowing to slits behind smudged lenses, then leaned in close enough I smelled the cloves on his breath from chewing gum. But it's worse than you think, Dottie. Much worse. She's not just a thief, she's a conqueror. What do you mean? My voice was a rasp. Donuts turning to leaden lumps in my gut. He pulled out his ancient smartphone. His grandson forced it on him 2 Christmases ago, its case cracked like old ice, and stabbed at the screen with fingers thick as sausage links, nails yellowed and chipped. I keep tabs on these things. Old habits from the ledger days, smudged ink and pencil shavings. Look here. He shoved the phone under my nose, the screen's blue glow harsh against the deli's yellow lamplight. USPTO website, filings fresh as yesterday's bread, the digital stamps gleaming cold. Grandma Anna's dumplings, Crystal Kowalski, pending. Uncle Stan's hunter's stew, Crystal Kowalski, pending. Kowalski cabbage, surprise, Crystal Kowalski, pending. Even Dottie's devilish donuts. My heart hammered like a blacksmith's forge on anvil, each beat echoing in my ears, hot sweat prickling my scalp despite the chill. She's claiming ownership? Legal ownership? Like she's inventing them. Mr. K nodded grimly, mustache twitching like a bristling broom. And get this, she's sent cease and desist letters. To me, printed on shiny paper that smelled like a lawyer's cologne. To old John's deli up in Hamtramck, their ink still wet. To Grandma's kitchen in Detroit, demanding we stop using similar names or face lawsuits. Says our dishes infringe on her trademarks. Our grandma's dishes, made the same way since Ellis Island. I stared, the world narrowing to that screen, the donut's sweet dust sticking to my clammy lips. These weren't just recipes, they were cultural DNA, woven into our bones. Grandma Anna smuggled those dumpling secrets out of the old country in 1944, hidden in her skirts amid gunfire echoes, the dough kneaded by candlelight. Uncle Stan's hunters stew-fed striking steelworkers in 37, steam rising like defiant breath in frozen picket lines. And now this girl, this blood of my blood, her laugh once a toddler's giggle at my knee, was launching a hostile corporate takeover of our heritage, trademark stamps like iron chains? This isn't a family spat, Dottie, Mr. K said, his eyes blazing like forged coals, voice low and gravelly as a diesel truck. This is war. She's not stealing cards, she's trying to own our culture, brick by brick, name by name. But we old-timers? We survived depressions, riots, assimilation mills. We'll survive one greedy niece with a smartphone. I nodded, fury blooming hot in my chest like a pot boiling over, chasing away the hurt with a savory burn. The deli's air felt charged now, alive with possibility, the sizzle of frying onions from the back a battle drum. What do we do, Wally? He smiled then, a sly, old-world grin cracking his weathered face like sunlight through storm clouds, revealing teeth stained from decades of strong coffee. We fight smart. Not with shouts and tears that evaporate like steam, but with facts hard as butcher block, lawyers sharp as cleavers, and community thick as good stew. First rule, you play dumb. Flattered old auntie, all hugs and cookies. Keep her close, off guard, while we sharpen the knives. That afternoon, back home with the windows cracked to air out Crystal's lingering perfume, we started the counterattack. I called her, voice dripping syrupy confusion thick as donut filling, my free hand stirring imaginary gravy with a wooden spoon's familiar weight. Oh, sweetie, I'm so overwhelmed by your book. It's beautiful, those pictures shine like polished silver. Maybe we can talk about it over Sunday dinner? Bring your mom, family style, with extra cabbage rolls. She bought it hook, line, and sinker, her laugh tinkling like wind chimes in a gale. Aunt Dottie, you're the best. See? Everyone's proud. I'll bring wine, the good stuff. Meanwhile, Mr. K worked his magic from the deli's back room, surrounded by crates of rye flour puffing dusty clouds and hooks of sausages dripping cold fat. He connected me with Martha Novak, a sharp-as-a-tack lawyer from the local Heritage Bar Association. Mid-30s, Chicago-born with a law degree from a top school, specializing in cultural intellectual property cases that smelled of old books and justice. We met over coffee in Mr. K's cluttered back room. The air heavy with curing meat and her crisp citrus perfume cutting through it like lemon on pork. Generic terms can't be trademarked, she explained, her pen tapping a legal pad with rhythmic clicks, steam curling from our mugs like genie smoke. Dumplings? Hunter stew? Descriptive of traditional family foods, anyone's grandma made them. We'll file petitions to cancel. Fraudulent applications, no real use in commerce. Ironclad. We gathered ammo like hunters in fall. My shaky photos of the original cards under kitchen lamp glow, their stains vivid as wounds. Affidavits from cousins, their signatures inked with ballpoint scratches swearing to the recipe's provenance. Voices cracking over Zoom with remembered feasts. Mr. K? He unveiled the crown jewels, binders of yellowed receipts from 1952 onward, paper crackling like autumn leaves, inked in faded blue. My family's orders for 50 pounds of rye flour monthly, its nutty scent still clinging to the pages. Caraway seeds shipped direct from old-world farms, sharp and piney. Farmer's cheese in muslin-wrapped wheels, tangy and crumbly. Proof these weren't Crystal's inventions, they were rooted deep as oak taproots. But law alone is a slow simmer, we needed fire. Mr. K rallied the tribe, his network vast as the neighborhood itself. A quiet word after Sunday Mass at St. Mary's, the church air thick with incense and whispered confessions. Boycott that girl's book, stolen straight from Dottie's box. Whispers in the community hall over coffee urns gurgling brown, donuts crumbling sweet on paper napkins. Posts on the Old Neighborhood Folks Facebook group, run by Mrs. Wilson, the church pianist with fingers like lightning. Support real grandmas, not thieves. Hashtag Kowalski recipes are ours. Screenshots shared, clicks multiplying like yeast in warm milk. Sales tanked overnight, a digital landslide. Crystal's Amazon rank plummeted from top 100 to the bargain bin abyss. Reviews soured like milk left on the porch, plagiarized from my Aunt Dottie, shameful grift. Fake authenticity. Boycott this fraud. Her Instagram stories grew frantic, filters cracking under panic sweat. She noticed, her calls turning shrill and wine-laced, voice tinny through my landline. Aunt Dottie, why are people saying this online? It's blowing up with hate. I thought you'd be happy, it's family pride. Oh dear, I cooed, actually stirring real stuffed cabbage gravy on the stove, the wooden spoons swirling thick red bubbles that popped with meaty pops. I don't know about all this internet stuff. Must be a misunderstanding. Come for dinner anyway, I'll make your favorite. But Crystal wasn't one to fold like cheap dough. Facing legal defeat, the trademark office scheduled hearings, their emails crisp with official letterhead, and her niche cred crumbling. Food bloggers distanced her like a bad rash, unfollows chiming like death knells. She struck back with modern venom, sharp as shattered glass. It came at 2 a.m., an email jolting me awake, my phone glowing demonic blue on the nightstand amid the bedroom's musty quiet, only the clock's red digits ticking like a bomb. Subject: let's make a deal, Aunt Dottie, before it's too late. My nightgown clung damp to my back as I opened it, fingers clumsy on the screen. I know you're behind the boycott and those stupid petitions. Cute grandma rebellion, but you're playing with fire you can't put out. I've got a TikTok series scripted and edited, exposing fake family foodies. I'll prove your so-called recipes are inauthentic American garbage, watered down, full of processed cheese slices and lazy shortcuts. Not real heritage stuff. I'll dig up proof, twisted old family stories showing you as the fraud who Americanized everything for cafeteria slop. Post baby pics of you with Kraft singles melting gooey. My 1M followers will eat it up, literally. Food media will run headlines. Elderly aunt exposed as culinary liar. Her dumplings are fake news. Sign over all rights. Endorse me publicly as the true keeper of Kowalski legacy in a video. Or by Friday, you're trending as a joke. The digital mob doesn't forget. They screenshot, meme, cancel forever. Attached, draft videos. Thumbnails leering. Her smirking at my handwriting under harsh ring light. See this sloppy scrawl? American chicken scratch, not elegant old-world script. Clips mocking my dumplings boiling in a pot's frothy churn. Too doughy, too cheesy with Velveeta glop. Real ones use fresh curd, not this microwave junk. She'd even photoshopped family scandals, me grinning with a tray of school lunch slop. Caption: cafeteria queen or recipe fraud? Terror gripped me, cold and vice-tight, worse than any childhood nightmare. At 74, with knees that creaked like rusty hinges and a fixed income thinner than broth, I don't do viral mobs. One trending hashtag fake grandma Dottie, and my name, my family's honor, dragged through digital sewage, stinking forever. Neighbors whispering behind lace curtains? Grandkids hiding their faces at school? The thought choked me, tears hot and salty on my lips as I paced the kitchen in robe and slippers, clutching my rosary beads smooth as worry stones, their metal chain cool against fevered skin. God, why from my own niece? Her baptism right here in this sink basin. Dawn broke gray and sodden, rain pattering like impatient fingers on the roof. I called Mr. K at 6 a.m., voice quavering. He answered on the second ring, deli's wake with the sparrows, fluorescent lights buzzing to life. Wally, she's blackmailing me. Smear campaign. TikTok's ready to launch. I can't fight that digital poison. I'm just an old lady with a spoon. He chuckled, deep and unflappable as Lake Michigan in summer, the background clatter of meat grinders whirring like war machines gearing up. Desperate wolves bite wild and sloppy, Dottie. Perfect. She's handed us the victory on a silver platter, wrapped in her own ego. His weapon? Not just receipts, though those binders were pure gold, paper whispering secrets. Invoices proving my family's authentic sourcing since the Eisenhower years, rye flour's earthy dust still perfuming the edges, caraway's sharp bite in every notation. No, he unleashed the real army, the local Women's Heritage Alliance, founded in 1898, 200 iron-willed grandmas and aunts who'd preserved our ways through floods, factory fires, and melting pot pressures, their hands scarred from laundry mangles and rolling pins. Mrs. Helen Sokol, chapter president, 87, with a voice like gravel under boot heels and connections like a spider's web across 3 states, took charge over tea in her parlor, bone china clinking delicate against saucers, air sweet with shortbread crumbling buttery. We do an event. Big one. Cooking with Grandma Dottie. Live stream to the world. Pack the cultural center till the rafters groan. Elders vouch with their own tongues and teeth. Truth wins every time. We planned feverishly, calendars flipping like heartbeats, November 15th, 2 weeks out. St. Stanislaus Cultural Center, vaulted ceilings echoing with ghosts, smells of beeswax polish and faint incense clinging to oak pews. Invites flew via email chimes and phone rings, heritage societies from Milwaukee to Detroit, food historians from the university with tweed jackets smelling of pipe tobacco. Even Chef Peter Novak, a Warsaw-born star in town for a festival, agreed to guest judge, his accent rolling rich as cream. Crystal called twice midweek, gloating through gritted teeth, her yoga breaths audible. Heard about your little potluck bake sale? Adorable, Aunt Dottie. My videos drop Friday, game over. Sign the papers or wave goodbye to your reputation. I stayed sweet as sugared donuts, stirring dough with deliberate squelches. Can't wait to see them, honey. Sounds exciting. Event day dawned crisp and knife-edged, November wind whipping fallen leaves down Noble Street in russet whirlwinds, carrying the distant tang of bonfires. By 10 a.m., the hall overflowed, 300 souls elbow to elbow, the air electric with chatter and the first sizzles from griddles. Cameras everywhere, YouTube live stream flickering on screens, Facebook notifications pinging like fireworks, even a local news crew with harsh lights baking sweat on brows. Booths steamed with massive dough kettles bubbling yeasty froth, sausage grills popping fat into blue smoke curls, counters groaning under crocks of kraut fizzing alive. I stood at the front on a low stage, apron starched white and crackling, rolling pin heavy and familiar in my grip, under a banner sewn by Alliance ladies, Dottie's family table, real recipes, real stories. Flashbulbs popped blinding white, the crowd's roar washing over me like ocean waves. These aren't just ingredients scribbled on cards, I said, voice steady as church bells tolling noon, carrying over microphones to the world. They're stories of hunger winters, with mothers pinching dough by lamplight. Prayers whispered over bubbling pots when doctors came calling. Memories you can taste in every bite, the salt of tears, the sweet of reunion. We cooked live, step by glorious step, the hall transforming into a throbbing heart of heritage. First, dumplings. I pinched dough with Grandma Anna's exact twist, fingers flying flour dusted, the soft plop of fillings spooned in echoing rhythmic. Mrs. Sokol, 82 and spry, leaned into a mic, her voice quavering but iron true. I've eaten Dottie's dumplings at every wedding since '58, identical to what my own grandma rolled in the old tenement. That cheese blend? Heaven's own secret. Chef Peter tasted one fresh-boiled, steam curling from its golden pouch, juices dripping hot, authentic as market stalls. Perfect acid balance, sour cream would weep. Hunter's stew next, layers built in gleaming copper pots over open flames, the hiss of venison searing first, then cabbage wilting with a vegetal sigh, prunes plopping dark and syrupy, wine glugging rich and tannic. Cousin Eddie, 65, retired steelworker with hands like hams, boomed. Uncle Stan taught Dottie this in '72, fed us picketers through blizzards, steam rising like our breath in the cold. The aroma filled the hall, primal and intoxicating, thick as London fog, drawing moans from the crowd. Donuts frying last, dough balls plunging into oil with merry sputters, surfacing golden and puffed, flipped with long forks to the scent of caramelizing sugar that made mouths water in unison. Elders lined up, voices overlapping in testimony. Dottie's grandma fed orphans with these in 45, glaze shining like hope. One great-aunt, 91, nibbled slow, eyes misting. Tastes like my first communion, pure. It went supernova, a viral eruption. 50,000 live viewers by noon, climbing to 200K as shares exploded, family groups from New York to Sydney, comments flooding like a digital river. This is real. Tears here. Protect our grandmas. Hashtag Cooking with Grandma Dottie trended worldwide. Hashtags pulsing brighter than crystals ever had. Headlines screamed from phones. Elderly Chicago matriarch defends heritage in epic cook-off. Smells amazing even through screen. Bloggers' theft backfires. Community rallies for true recipes. Fills hall with soul food steam. Crystal posted her videos anyway Friday at high noon, as threatened, her ring light glare making her look vampiric. But they drowned in the flood, pebbles in a tsunami. Comments savage as winter wind. Cynical grifter exposed. Go cry in your quinoa. This is why we honor grandmas, not influencers with fake lashes. Crystal who? Grandma Dottie forever. Those dumplings smells traveled through my phone. Her followers hemorrhaged down 400K in 48 hours. Unfollow chimes a funeral dirge. Sponsors ghosted. Emails bouncing into voids. The betrayals piled in my mind like strata of sedimentary rock. First the pantry sneak thief shuffle, then the trademark stamps cold as gravestones, now this desperate lash of digital venom. But each layer fueled us, hardening our resolve like clay in a kiln. USPTO ruled 3 weeks later, their decision email arriving with a sterile ping, trademarks cancelled in full. Fraudulent filings, terms generic, traditional, and descriptive of long-standing family dishes. Platforms yanked her book overnight, Amazon delisting with mechanical efficiency, Etsy shops shuttered, her site crashing under refund demands, pixels vanishing like smoke. Her brand? Reduced to ashes, bitter as burnt crust. I published my own, Dottie's Family Table, true recipes from generation to generation. Every card photographed raw under natural light, stains and all, flower ghosts vivid, handwritings tremble a badge of honor, stories attached like ribbons. How Grandma Anna's dumplings hid coded notes for the old country resistance, dough kneaded with whispered codes. Proceeds? All to the Cultural Center, $25K in the first year alone, checks crisp and donated amid applause at board meetings. Crystal slunk away to radio silence. Last I heard, via my sister, who'd unfriended her online with a decisive click, she's pivoting to wellness smoothies in LA, blending green goop under palm trees, no more heritage claims or family invites. Christmas gatherings? Her chair stays empty, plate untouched. Now, sitting in my kitchen as snow dusts the windowsill outside, recipe box safe on its shelf amid the faint, comforting hum of the fridge, I stir a pot of sauerkraut slow simmering with smoked ribs, the steam curling up tangy and alive, fogging my glasses with memory. She thought my recipes were just ingredients scribbled on cards, content to mine like digital or trademarks to file like property deeds, dollars to chase in pixel piles. She didn't understand they were stories of endurance etched in flavor, prayers for the hungry rising with each bubble, memories you can taste layer by layer, the crunch of first snow and cabbage, the warmth of hearthfire and dough, the unbreakable bond of blood in every pinch. To anyone whose heritage is being packaged and sold by someone else, your own blood or a slick stranger, fight back with everything you've got. Gather your people around the table, your proofs in yellowed stacks, your truths in the steam of shared pots. Your traditions are your soul, deep-rooted and unknowable. No trademark stamp, no viral hit, no modern twist, with its hollow crunch can ever claim that. And if they try? Roll up your sleeves, heat the oil, and show them how real ones fry. The grandmas always win.